we talk about four elements, very maybe in the surface. Now, before continuing that, I want to just use or give another few words to understand the layers, because when we're talking about the human, which part of human we talk? Let's check like Earth right now. The planet Earth has its own body, very big one, and then it has four elements on top. But does it have more elements than we cannot see, except these four elements? Because even the four elements is the layers of the Earth, right? We have like rocks, we have water, we have air, we have fire and air, all going to the subtle, more subtle. When we come down, it would be really like the metal, like a metal ball. I can see it, I can sense it, it's very solid. But when I go to water, it's a bit more subtle, right? It's just the energy is a bit more subtle, it's just flexible. Then go to fire, it would be more funny. Then I go to air, you cannot see it, but really you need it. Now that's the normal four elements of Earth. But there is another one on Earth which even is more important than everything else, which we might didn't know 1,000 years when we were living. It was like the magnetic, right? The magnetic poles of the Earth, the north and south. And every movement of Earth is happening by the magnetic, right? The negative and positive poles of the Earth. And even when we have the seasons, like 4 seasons we have. The 4 seasons, do you know how the 4 seasons created on Earth? Usually people think that, okay, if we get far from sun, it would be like winter, and then we get closer, it would be like summer. But that doesn't cause the season. The season is caused by the axis of the pole, North Pole to South Pole. That axis, like that angle, is create every movement, and it's manage every movement in Earth, which create even 4 seasons and everything else. Magnet is very interesting. We don't see it, but today we are using the like electric stuff, right? Like lamps stuff and magnet stuff, all which is invisible energy. When we're talking about the layers, it might have still more layer on Earth which we don't know yet. But in human being, which is more complicated being or creature in Earth at least, it has different layers. When we're talking about a human, sometimes we're talking different layer of human. Generally, we consider 3 layers. What I'm teaching now is just general knowledge, and it's probably kind of common in all religion or spirituality and everything. In every human, we consider the human to 3 parts. Once, it's an essence. It's a simple essence, which is like a boy or girl, young one. When they're born, it's just an essence. They don't know if we see the whole physical life, we can see a child. A child has simple thinking, how to survive, how to live, how to move, just very something simple. That's called essence, right? Then we get like young. When we get young, we would have more experience, right? When we are a child, we are all like each other. But when we grow up younger, we start to be different to others, because then I know something, I learn something, I have my own art, knowledge, talents, all stuff is changing. But when we're kids, we are all almost the same. We could all play together because there was not much differentiate between us. But now once we are young, then someone wants to be scientist, someone wants to do art, it just start different people then. And then when we grow older, then it's again different. Then we have our own knowledge, wisdom, everything is different. Because when we were young, we tried and lots of things, we try and error, with experience, we learned. Then when we are old, now we know, right? We use that experience, we use that wisdom, good or bad, or whatever experience we had. Now, if we consider that three parts of one age of human, we can say, okay, when we child, we are essence. When we young, we are soul, or psychology mocks war, or psyche. Psyche or soul is kind of the same concept. Then when we are grow old, we call it monad. Right. Monad is like our inner wisdom. In human being is now in the different layer is the same. Once, even now, that was the age example. Now I'm talking about the layers of a human being, which does not relate to the age really. When a person comes to this world, he might have different or inner layers. The inner layers is like magnetic to Earth. It's very important, it's manage everything, but it's not visible. In us, there is a soul, a psychology or psyche. The psyche in us is more important than the body, because psyche can manage the body. Body cannot manage the psyche, right? If you're angry, it's hard to control it by body, but you can control it in your mind. The inner layer, then we put three layers. The first layer is essence. The second layer is soul, psychology, or being, we call sometimes. And the third layer is the inner God, or in Islamic would be like a Rab, or inner God is who is responsible for all human being, which is godlike, or which is God actually, but inside us. That would be like when we go to the matter and energy, and then we go to the quantum physics, it's just different layer of the same thing, different views. That would be the three main key words we are going to use from now. It would be essence, it would be soul or being, or it would be monad, right? Monad is the highest one, which is, I would say, the most inner part. The being is more in the middle, and then we have the essence. Now, when we're talking about the elements, we're talking about, for now, we're talking about the essence. We are describing the essence. Everything about the elements, it would go to essence, which we are all right now, right? We are essence, we call. Now, an essence is a particular photon or light from the inner God, which comes to this body, and then this body, you call it alive, right? It would be, Reza is alive, right? He's living, he's alive. Then I would say that I'm alive because I have essence. That part which differentiates the alive and this is, we call it essence. Now, when an essence comes to body, first of all, before continuing, if I ask, is there possible that as an essence, or even as a soul, can I live on earth without body? Probably cannot, right? Might be possible, but if you want to interact with someone, you have to have the body. You have to have the body to talk to someone. Now, that essence, when get a body, it's like a vehicle. The body is like a vehicle that essence can sit and can use this vehicle to drive, right? Go somewhere, come back, talk, listen, have a feeling. That would be, we call the body is, for this reason, we call it the vehicle of the essence. Now, the vehicle has different parts, which the four elements is constitute this body. The body I have in anywhere, in any angle, I would have the four elements. That's, if we look at the body, we have, we talked about that we have using air, even the body itself using air, fire, and water, and itself as a earth element. Now, everyone has in their life, the body contains these four elements, but the essence is sitting on a vehicle with four elements. That's something clear? Now, you have a vehicle, you're sitting on the vehicle, it has four tires or four elements. First of all is to check all the tires are working. They have enough pressure, right? The four tires. That's a good thing to check, that if we have the vehicle we are checking, do we have enough of each element, or one tire is that big and one tire is that small? Then it's not in the balance. The balance of every human being first is to have this element balance. Now, how can we balance this element in us? In your opinion? You start, Arya. Do you think anything? How can we balance the element? By working on certain element. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, say it again.
By working on a certain element.
Exactly. First of all, we should know which element we have, which element we don't have. We can go to, if you are in Iran or maybe Arabic country, they have the, I think they call it traditional GP. The doctor, kind of doctors with lots of herb, the herbal doctor, right? I don't know. Herbalist, yeah. In Iran, there is lots of herbalists. They always call, they see people and they say, oh, you need this element, you need this element. Or you need this herb actually, which this herb has fire or it has, they're using different name, but they have 4 elements in them again. And then they help the body to go in balance. When the body is in balance, it would be a lot better and a lot healthier. That health part would be perfect when a body is in balance. Now, we can make the body in balance by using certain pills, herbs, foods even, right? That's one way to work with the body. Okay, can you tell me that if I don't have air or water, what can I eat? Just general. I don't want herbal detail information. Just general. What should I eat when I'm? He was eating. He's fixing one of element. For example, when we're talking about the water, right? A person would have the water element on Earth. What does it have? It contains fish, all seafood stuff, right? Then probably if I don't have enough water, I would be able to use more water product. Is it simple? Yeah, like seafood, fish, whale, or...
I think we're talking about sea shampoo.
No, yeah, whatever live in water, they would have water element. Have you seen that countries or cities, not countries, cities next to water, they are usually calm people? I cannot give you an example from Australia much because we are all mixed up. I'm born somewhere and just live somewhere else. But like in Iran, I know lots of examples, but probably you don't know the city name much. But if people living next to sea, like in the shore, then they are usually more flexible because they have more water. If someone lives in, I don't know, desert, yeah, in the middle of Australia, probably he doesn't have much flexibility. But what he has is what he can have: earth and fire, because it's too hot, right? No water and it's fire, right? If certain cities contain different elements, when we call it a city has earth, more earth, it's usually with mountain. Mountain is earth, right? But these are like more hot weather or sun or fire. Now let's just have a look on the body and earth body and human body, and then we go to the psychology, talking about the same element in the psychology. Even when we don't have any element, we're trying to use that element. Now, every little plant, they have different elements, which I don't have I'm not professional in herbal to give you an example, but usually the herbalists, they know what element they have and how that element can help someone to be more in balance, right? But when someone who has the Air. Which city could have air? How much air someone has? Can you tell me an example of the city with air?
Chicago is known for the windy city.
Chicago is windy city, okay, good. And usually the windy are more higher than the sea level, right? Sometimes. Or some cities are like 1 kilometer above sea. Yeah.
Here in WA, Albany is the windy. It's called the windy city, and that's why they have a lot of the propellers.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really windy. Even on a non-windy day, it's not. It's really windy for us.
Yeah, I've seen that thing.
Yeah, they use it to generate
Generate
energy
the power,
from
yeah.
the wind. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any experience of someone living in the desert or someone living in the, like, next to sea, shore? Do you know anyone in your mind? Can you compare? They should born there and live there that you can compare.
I've got one. It's coming back to Australia again. There is the ancient Aboriginals and the now Aboriginals. The ancient ones and the traditional ones, they exist still, but they're not as much as before. So back in the days, they had a lot of water because Australia is an island, yeah? They've had a lot of fish. So in terms of flexibility, calmness, completely flat, very, very balanced. And now, if you look at the Aboriginals now, they're on a verge of fire. So they are literally always like this, not level. So if you actually compare the traditional people living now, it's just not many of them living now. But if you compare the nows, like the modern ones, you can actually see the huge difference within them.
Okay, interesting. When a body, when nature gives us a body, the place we born has its own element. Like I born in north of Iran, which it was like higher than sea, 850 meter, and it's mountain, and it's cold probably. When I came to Australia, my body was saying, "Oh, where is it? Why is it like that here?" And I was a bit different. My body was a bit different. Nowadays, we are going different cities, or we are migrate from one place to another place. That might be a bit different, or our body gets used to have different elements. But by default, the body will inherit the element of the environment we've been born, right? The mother now, okay, the water we're talking about is it has its own element, and we can have fish, for example, to be more flexible or calm. What about air? What air can give us to eat? By wind, you still are hungry.
Yeah.
Birds, yeah. Birds are an element or child of the air because they have wing. Even chicken cannot fly but has a wing. It's still considered as a bird. Fruit, I'll talk about fruit later. Fruit is a bit special. Yeah, a bit of mix and everything. What product from earth? Vegetables, more grain, for example, yeah, would consider it as earth products. But generally, yeah, vegetables. Fruit is a bit different. I'll talk about that later. And one element, fire. how we can eat fire? Cooked food? No. Meat. The red meat is considered as fire. Whatever has blood. The blood is represent the fire. If someone is too much angry or is always angry, you can tell him to just not much eat. If someone is flexible all the time, very flexible with lots of water, you can say, okay, please have meat as much as you want, right? Is it clear now who should eat what? What do you want to eat, Arya?
Eggs.
Yeah, I mean, no eggs.
Actually, eggs is interesting because they come from chicken.
Eggs is a bit, yeah. Some of them are kind of mixed. Yeah, eggs is mixed. But I think Akil should have meat a lot. And okay, it's all of the elements. They have different elements in them too. It's just a mixture of different elements. Sometimes one element more or two elements more. Now, it's interesting if I talk about even the religion. The religion are based on the elements. Have you thought of that? Nope. Okay. I'll give an example. Okay. I'm not going through all details of religion, but just as a few samples. When someone dies, what they do with the body? Depending on the religion, exactly. Some burn the body, all right? Some, I think Nordic one, I don't know which culture, but they put it into the sea. Some put on the ground. And what about air? They spread the ashes. No, it's still fire because it's ashes. No. Yeah, exactly. Buddhists, they put it onto the top of mountain. The body just there, and then they believe that not eagle, the other one, the ugly eagle one, vulture, yeah. The vulture or that kind of bird, they have to eat the body. And there is still lots of like Buddhist or Hinduism and Zoroastrian, they do that. Muslim or Christianity and I think Jews, they all are put on the ground. Then based on that, you can just guess, okay, this is how it works, right? Which element they're more working with. The body should go back to 4 elements once we finish our driving. But which element do you want to give? That's a funny one, right? That's a depend on the culture, but sometimes we can choose. If you're in Australia, you can choose. If you are in Iran, you cannot. But that's one of the other 4 elements. You can't give back to the element. You have to give them back, right? What else you know about element? Seasons, right? Can you tell me each season, what element has each season? Spring, summer, and fall, and winter. Okay, tell me.
Summer should be fire.
Summer should be fire, yep. Change this. Summer is Fire.
Spring, maybe earth, because everything rejuvenate.
Earth. Fall.
Fall is wind.
Wind, okay. And winter. Water. However, this is true, but sometimes they have the second element. Because like spring had earth, yeah, right? Earth is just sprouting, it's just going, grow everything, but it has water too. But the water is coming from the previous one. From the winter, water goes, or from the air, and summer, it has a fire. What element, what else there is in the summer? Earth, yeah, still earth is there. Earth is coming from this one to the next one. It doesn't have water, not summer. You have to consider a good country, like 4-season country, not here in Perth. Sometimes it doesn't work in Perth because you don't have like right season. But in Iran, for example, the city I was born, it was like really, the winter really, we had lots of snow. It was all, earth was always a layer of water there. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, what else you can think of number 4? 4 element. There should be a lot more. I don't remember two even. What? Body. Yeah, body we talked. Can you remember? We have the fire inside the body is the blood, right? And then we have air and water and earth, all of them in the body.
Going back to the body, my first thought would be the emotions within oneself.
Mm-hmm.
So using all those 4 elements, that category definitely falls to the emotions.
Absolutely
state.
true. Just for the first part, we're talking physically the body. Then we were going to the layers of the same thing in the different layer. Okay. Now, once we're talking about, we were talking about the vehicle, right? Usually in the earlier classes, I always call it, instead of vehicle, donkey. And some people liked it, some people, they don't like it. Now it's better to call it like vehicle. It's more classic. But it's still, the vehicle has 4 legs or tire. Now, this is the interesting part, which is this vehicle with all these 4 elements, which would be controlled by nature, and it's collaborated by nature, right? All nature is helping my elements to nourish, and one can control then the environment. No, the environment can control me, more. City, people, everything is helping my body. If, as a simple one, for example, if someone living in a desert, in the very hot weather, he doesn't have flexibility. But what he has, what fire can give us? Emotion, yes, but a good thing. Because flexibility is good, right? Survival.
Courage.
Warmth. Courage. Yeah, courage is very good. Because a person which has fire, you remember it as an angry person. Negative part. Negative part when someone has fire, he's angry or she's angry. But if someone is angry, at the same time, he or she does have a courage, because anger creates courage. But it's not in the right side. We should have courage, not anger. But anger can create courage too. It's kind of mixed. If someone wants to have courage, no anger, we're talking next part then. But courage and anger for now is element of the fire. Wind. If someone is windy, a person if is windy, what is the characteristic? Changing mind, right? Weather goes this way and that goes that way. It's changing the mood. When someone has too much air, mood, for example. I'm just giving one example of each, but it would be a lot more we can discuss, or you can even study yourself. Just yourself, not studying internet. Even just study yourself, then you say, okay, I'm moody, for example. I'm just changing my mood every 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I want to do something, and then 10 minutes later, I'll just change my mind. I'll say, oh, okay, I'm moody, I'm windy then, right? But wind and fire are very working together for the mood, right? Because mood is emotion which change by the air, right? Wind changes the emotion. Okay. If someone is living in the mountains, for example, I don't know, Himalaya or somewhere, they're living in the mountain, cold area, usually cold, right? What would be the characteristic? Just general.
In terms of living?
Yeah. What's the good thing of having mountain? Healthy? Oh, healthy. None of them are healthy, really. No element. Tougher. Yeah. If you tell someone persistent, for example, someone which is doing disciplined and persistent and tough, it's like mountain, right? You can count on them. But if someone moody, you cannot count on them. You can count on the mountain, not the fire, not the wind, right? Okay. Now this is different. You can see the whole earth. You can find lots of elements, and then these elements sometimes mix up together, and then make something else. And then, like each two can create. If we have 4 elements, and then combination of these two or these two or these two or these two, then create another combination, right? Then would be 3. Then you might have 2, right? And then combination would be 1. That would be this many possibility to mix up elements together. Now, the most important part of the know yourself is to know which type of this element I have, which one I don't have. That's for you for homework. You have to find out in the next few weeks that which element you have, which element you don't have, and which each element you have, why you have. I'm saying I'm very flexible. I have water, I'm saying why? You say, I'm very flexible. Then you're saying, okay, I'm saying I have wind and fire. Saying why? Saying I get angry in a sec, very quickly, right? It would be different elements. Now, negative and positive, it doesn't matter at this stage. negative or positive because by default, each element has negative and has positive. But once we go to the next stage, then we differentiate between negative and positive, right? Because it's a force. When it's a force, it has both. Now, all we talked here was for a vehicle, for a body. Now, what about my essence, which sits in this vehicle? How about that? Saying, oh no, that has its own element, and that works with the element too. An essence, now, with the same element which we talked physically, would have in essence would be have a body itself, and then water, which is the energy, and then emotion and the mind. Why this one is important for us? Because there is two different fields of belief. Sometimes you say, I'm getting too angry, I'm getting too much angry, or too quick, or I'm always on the borderline of anger. What should I do? And then we say, okay, eat that, or eat this, or eat water, eat, I don't know, Coke, or something. That would help. Yeah, that's good, but the problem is we believe we want to control or fix the psyche or the essence to fix the problem, not only the body. It's like I'm having my car even could be fine, but I'm too tired sitting in my car like that. Oh, who can drive now? The problem usually comes because I'm not driving my car properly. The car fixing it is in life. Sometimes life itself is helping us, nature is helping us. Doctors, GPs, professionals, herbalists, teas, everything is helping the body, but none of them can help the psychology, their soul, their essence, right? For fixing the psyche, anyone needs to do only themselves. That's the only part someone can do it himself. There is no one can help that. If you're angry, I cannot like say, okay, I'm doing some magic, then you're okay. I can give your vehicle something. I can give drugs to your vehicle, and then the vehicle's smiling, right? But still the anger is there, right? Okay. That part, in our class, we are not professional in doing herbal or energy stuff or even pills and drugs. We are focusing on, okay, how can I fix my psychology to fix the body? On a permanent basis, yeah. Now, is it these elements which was for the body, was for vehicle, is it affecting me already? Yeah, absolutely. Because if I'm living in like Iran, Australia, or America, or some other places, it just for sure the culture and everything is affected. My essence too, because the body I've experienced lots of things in the environment. Now it's affecting my essence. Now for essence, I want to go fix the essence. That's the personal part. That's what we are going to discuss from now would be that part, right? Not just the body or normal. Then when we're talking about the elements, we're talking about anything in the future, we're talking about this layer. Okay? Now, tell me that based on but the concepts are the same. Concept is still 4 elements, and we have another numbers we talk later, but for now we're focusing on the 4 number 4. Whatever is number 4, right? Now, let me give an example. If there is a fire here and you want to control the fire, you can put water on it, or you can extract the air to extinguish the fire, right? The fire dies without air. Okay. Now, the problem is, even with water, when a fire takes place and it's like a big fire, the water doesn't help anymore. It's not easy to turn on fire. And the wind makes it 10 times more. We all have seen enough in Australia, the jungles, forests, bushes, they all get fired. When they get on fire, then it's not easy to turn it off. We only need the wind, right? Now, give me an example. Okay, give me an example how I can, when I'm angry and on fire, how can I control them based on this example?
Try and be more flexible.
Try to be more flexible, that works, that would be water. How about to not give air to fire? Okay, go ahead.
Would you say if, for instance, Masa is angry and I see the funny side and I make her laugh, would that be would that be wind?
That would be water.
Water as well.
Yeah, you just pouring water on him, her. Yeah, that works. When someone is on fire, it's hard to. You can be flexible, because flexibility. If I tell you guys, this whiteboard should be here and here, and no one touched that, right? And then someone put this one there, then I'm getting angry, right? Then flexibility, what it means, I'm saying, yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with this change. People can change things. It doesn't matter. Then I don't get angry, right? That's a flexibility. But if I have flexibility enough, I'm not getting high angry. Go, Akil.
I was thinking, as you were saying, it's the air or the wind that makes the fire keep burning. So with us, it's our breathing. If we reduce our breathing, take it easy that way, then we can calm down from being angry.
True. That was the very, very good key. That's one of the most important key to control the breeze. That's the most important key on today's session. When you get angry, you only need to control the air. That would fix it. If usually I'm saying, okay, why this person put this whiteboard marker here? It should be there. And then how wind works. The first emotional, I get a bit angry. And if I use my water, I say, okay, it doesn't matter. That's fine. People do it, and I'm flexible with wherever you want to put. If I cannot put water, then the fire continues. Then the next thought would be, then now wind says, okay, there is a fire, I have to help. If water cannot help, I have to help. Right? One of these two elements should come. Then mind would say, okay, yeah, our people are careless. They don't see things properly. Still, I'm just continuing the wind. Oh, Mahsa put this one here. I remember last week he just did some dirty dishes there and there. And then continue thinking, all right? The wind start, continue, and every thought would be adding the same emotion. All right? Okay. Now how can I control the mind? I said, okay, mind, okay, she or he did that. Okay, even if it's wrong, okay, don't get angry, just be there. Okay. And the mind is still, no, you shouldn't put there. It's not my right. It's said, okay, silence. But you cannot. It's not easy. When the fire starts, it's not easy to control. Then I'm saying, okay, the only thing I can do is just don't breathe. Then all mind was thinking about everything. He said, no, I want to leave, just breathe. Give me wind. So no, I'm not doing it. You have to die there. However, we cannot do that, but we can control the breath. Breathing very slowly and deep. Whatever makes you angry, 10-minute breathing probably would go away. Have you tried? Works? You guys tried? It just makes magic. But it's, if the body and mind has 4 elements in balance, a person doesn't get angry fast, right? It doesn't make you angry like that. It just takes time. But if the body is working on one tire, more like fire, then the person is always in the borderline of the anger. Now, I have to make myself balance, not physically, more internally. I'm always saying mentally, but mentally is not really the right word. It's internally. Even if I'm saying mentally, I probably mean internally. The internal senses. Inside the big mind, the human inner, we have all these elements and we have to use them. And also, we talk about the magnetic later. There is a magnetic too. There is electric and magnetic and stuff too. But now I want for this week, everyone, start really deep down, find out which element they have, how to control the element. The body is one part, but mostly I want psychology, psych, or essence. In essence, each one of us has certain elements and we have to fix it. We have to balance it, right? It's okay if you use the food to balance, but we know that the food balance, it's not permanent. It's just temporary fix, right? Okay, any question?
Just a quick one with so if we put earth on fire, that would also work. Do we have an example for that in
Usually,
emotion?
Earth and fire usually doesn't happen much. Earth is not, fire is not good with earth. Fire usually works with that 2 elements. If you remember the session before or previous one, we talked about each element has 1 helping, 1 reduce, 1 increase. Right? Each element in a way, I wrote it like that. And then would be like earth, water, fire, and air. Each element is helping 1 and against the other. That's kind of, each element is related to other two. Here, it's the fire, yeah, works, water is against, and air is helps.
I think what maybe you have in mind is the fact that once, for example, you put soil on fire, which essentially is just controlling the air, because you don't let air to get to the fire, so it is still the air.
Yes. That's a good one. Yep, yep. True. Okay, Akil.
This is maybe a comment more than a question, but I was just thinking back about the fire and how to extinguish it inside ourselves if we get angry or something. And I was just thinking about a hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he was saying if someone is angry and they can't calm down, if they're standing, they should sit down, and if they're still angry, then they should lie down. And I was thinking about that, what you were saying, and it made sense because that's to do with the blood, like you were saying, the fire. So if the blood is pumping too much, then we can control that with our breathing. So if we sit down, then that helps us to control our breathing. If we lie down, that helps us to control our breathing some more. So I just thought I made that connection.
Yeah, even it's bring the fire down. Because when we are angry, we just want to move more. Because anger is power. Concluding the class, we go for next week.